All right, we are back with another pick'em video. It is Monday, March 24th in the NBA. We have an 8-game slate, so definitely some plays I'm liking on the board. Going to talk about probably 3 or 4 official plays, talk about some leans in this one as well, but definitely some good games out there to bet on, I think. Definitely some solid unders in certain games. Some guys just not getting this Wizards and Raptors game. We might not see someone hit 30 minutes, so definitely going to be looking at some unders for there. Definitely got some other good games to look at as well. Some overs I'm liking for some stars, and yeah, we're going to break that all down. So we're going to talk about the recap of the last video we did. We're going to talk about the injury news for today, and then we will hop into the plays for today. So if that sounds cool, definitely go ahead and leave the video a like, comment something down below, and if you're new around here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're definitely hitting our groove once again. Everyone was struggling a little bit right after that All-Star break when teams were like, all right, we're going to stop playing guys, we're going to start playing guys. People doing playoff pushes, all these injuries, and then other teams like, yeah, we're going to just stop playing guys in the fourth quarter. It's been weird, but we're definitely getting a little bit more groove. The Quentin Grimes of the world, people that are starting to play minutes, Stephen Castle over on the Spurs. We know these guys are kind of the main options now, and we've been able to see these lineups look a little bit more normal down the stretch the last week or so. So definitely hitting our groove once again, and going to try to continue that. So we'll start with the recap where we did pretty good, and going to try to ride that momentum. All right, so jumping into the recap of the last video we did, which we didn't do a video Saturday or Sunday. It's been March Madness. I knew the views were going to be a little bit lower, but it's not even about that. More people are going to be watching March Madness and focusing on March Madness. I was doing NBA for sure in the Discord and things like that, but by the time I get those videos out, especially on the Saturday and Sunday, some of those games are already going to be starting soon. So I just took those 2 days off. If I take days off, they're usually going to be on a weekend. So yeah, we're here for the next at least 5 days in a row. And of course, with baseball starting, definitely going to try to get some more action down with those as well. But here's the last video we did. We had Kawhi over 22.5 points. He hit that. PJ Washington under his 2.5 assists. He continues to hit that. He had 0, I believe. Kevin Durant over 24.5 points. He had 42. Sengun over 4.5 assists. Unfortunately, did not get there. Only 2 assists in that game. And then Duren, bad game against the Mavericks there. They actually lost that game. 24.5 points and rebounds, didn't get that as well. But we did talk about some plus money plays. We talked about a ton of different plays in this video. It was like a 40-minute video. I pretty much deep dove into every single game, so a lot of winners we gave out in that one. Jalen Green under 3.5 assists for plus money, cashed that. He had 1. Porzingis over 5.5 first quarter points. He had 1 million first quarter points. And then Mamu, one of my favorite plus money plays, just didn't come through for me. Limited data there, but a guy coming off a 32, 34-point explosion in 19 minutes. A guy that saw that much time in these games and cashed this in like 80% of them. Just didn't come through for us, unfortunately. But plus money is plus money for a reason sometimes. So pretty good day overall. Going to try to replicate that, and we've been doing pretty good over these last few weeks here, or at least the last week. So yeah, let's ride it out. Let's talk about some injuries, and then we'll get into the plays. So jumping into the injury report, we got Minnesota and Indiana. They're going to be the first game on the slate. Anthony Edwards game time decision and Benedict Mathurin game time decision. Anthony Edwards for the Minnesota side of things is too big for me to really get to any Minnesota Timberwolves plays right now. Indiana side of things, I'm definitely liking an under for a certain guy we're going to talk about in this video. Halliburton has been a double-double machine. His assists have been up, kind of recently the last 10, 15 games or so. It kind of looks like what we saw from Halliburton last year. And without Anthony Edwards, maybe he doesn't play this game. Could be a little bit of an easier matchup for him, but he's been scoring. He's been assisting extremely well. It doesn't really matter what defense he's seeing. So definitely some value in this game. I'd like to see what Anthony Edwards is going to do on that one, though. For the Lakers, we got LeBron finally returned from that injury. Didn't score too well, but also they got crushed by the Bulls. So LeBron going to be a game-time decision, but probable. Rui Hachimura game-time decision as well, and then Kleber still out for that team. Orlando side of things, Cole Anthony still dealing with that toe injury that's kept him out for a while, and that's going to do it for that game. Toronto and Washington, I mentioned this. You can see the projected minutes. No one has a projected minutes line of more than 30 minutes. All these guys are getting minutes. Looks like Marcus Smart and Middleton are going to be playing in this game, so they're relatively healthy from what we've saw. Bilal still out for this one. Brogdon's been out a million years. Sadiq Bey's been out a million years. And then for the Toronto side of things, they just don't want to win games at this point. And we've seen Jakob Poeltl get pulled in the fourth quarter a bunch. Quickly and Poeltl both game time decisions, but probable, so they should be playing in this one. Scotty Barnes and RJ's minutes have been down, so harder game to predict here, but I think there's some undervalue in that game as well. Dallas and Brooklyn, we got still a bunch of injuries for the big guys on this team. Anthony Davis going to be returning eventually soon, hopefully, but game time decision today. Still no Lively, still no Gafford for this team, but getting a little bit healthier in terms of what you can be. Kyrie Irving's gone, Luka's on the Lakers. So Dallas maybe, when they get AD back, going to be a big boost for them as well. For Brooklyn side of things, we got D'Lo still out. He's been a guy that I hate betting on anyway because he's so hit or miss in terms of his minutes. You can see the projected minutes here. Cam Johnson expected to get a whole bunch. Claxton I don't think he's as efficient without D'Lo in the lineup. And then some of these other guys, the Zaire Williams of the world, the Jalen Wilsons, even Trenton Wofford, can get some buckets in limited minutes, especially if they're playing well and they get a little boost there. Philly and New Orleans, this is a 6-point spread in favor of New Orleans. That doesn't happen very often. Zion's going to be a game-time decision. Eve Meesty, game-time decision. CJ McCollum, probable. Boston still out, so got to see if Zion's going to play before I go to any Pelicans players. We see the projected minutes for some of these other guys. Justin Edwards, 36 projected minutes. He's been very, very good when he gets the time in the court, so just got to keep that in mind. He's been a guy that's getting more and more volume. Quentin Grimes obviously has been LeBron James for the 76ers recently. Yabusele, Ricky Council. This is what the 76ers and Philly fans are going through with all their injuries. We already know Tyrese Maxey probably not going to play. Embiid and Paul George both out for the year. So obviously a ton of injury news for that team. Chicago and Denver, the Josh Giddey show continues to be insane. He had a monster triple-double, almost a quadruple-double with steals the last few games, and he's looked awesome. So now he's got a pretty weak matchup here. I haven't even looked at this, but something I want to look into, and maybe will be a video pick here, is Josh Giddey's rebounds and assists. He's also been scoring extremely well, especially with no Jokic. Rebounding is going to be a little bit easier for a guy that's just been able to get assists, get rebounds. It's a really good spot for a guy going up against Denver, who allows a ton of assists as well. Kobe White looks like he's ready to go. Vucevic, a guy that I thought was going to be losing time down the stretch, has been able to get on the floor a little bit more consistently, getting around 30 minutes pretty much each game. And then Kobe White pretty much scores 23 points every single game. So that's where his line's probably going to end up, 23, 24, 22, wherever that's going to be. Just a little bit too hard for me to predict Kobe White to get over that line or under that line, because he's always right around that line. Lonzo and Trey Jones still out for this team, which is just another boost for a guy like Josh Giddey. And then for Denver, obviously Jokic, kind of mentioned that. Stroth are going to be out here as well. Jokic probably not going to play in this one. He's been out the last 5 games or so. He's definitely dealing with something. They want him healthy for the playoffs. And we saw DeAndre Jordan play pretty well in terms of scoring, in terms of rebounding. Jamal Murray should be ready to go. He had a good scoring game yesterday. This is a back-to-back for them as well. I'll mention the back-to-back teams in a little bit because there are like 5 of them. Milwaukee and Phoenix, we got Giannis going to be a game-time decision, but probable, should be ready to go. Damian Lillard still out. Bobby Portis still suspended. Gary Trent Jr. going to be a game-time decision here as well. Could be the Giannis show, but we've also seen Kyle Kuzma actually step up a little bit. Brook Lopez's scoring has been pretty consistent, especially without Bobby Portis in the lineup. Pretty good matchup here as well. Then for the Phoenix side of things, still no Bradley Beal. Nick Richards, Plumlee, going to be game-time decisions. Should be ready to go in this one. A guy like Oso Ighodaro could be a guy that randomly gets more minutes than Nick Richards. You see their projected minutes are right here. But it's too hard to kind of predict. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant have been the main guys. They're always the main guys for this team, but especially recently. Then the last game of the day, we got Boston and Sacramento. Bunch of game time decisions for Boston, who seem to be resting at least one guy every single day. Jaylen Brown's been a guy that's been out of the lineup. Porzingis here now, game time decision. Drew Holiday. So I assume at least one of these guys is going to go ahead and sit against Sacramento, who's might not have Domantas Sabonis, who might not have Malik Monk. So a bunch of injuries in this game. Probably not one I'm going to be looking at until later in the day. So that's all the injury news. There is back-to-back situations, so I'm going to point that out right now. And those teams are going to be the Boston Celtics, the Nuggets, the Pelicans, the 76ers, and the Raptors. So just like I was talking about the Celtics, I now assume at least one of those guys is going to sit, probably a Porzingis or something like that. Maybe you get Jaylen Brown back in the lineup. But yeah, definitely 5 teams on a back-to-back. Always keep that in mind because, with the guys resting, especially the guys that aren't really battling for playoff positioning, you might see even less minutes from certain guys. And that, makes me even like Toronto Raptors unders a little bit more, even though they're going up against the Washington Wizards. So now let's start talking about some plays. We're going to be using a tool called Props Madness like we always do right here. You can actually check this out for a free week if you're watching this video and you're like, I got to try this thing out. It is too powerful for me to not try it out, especially if you're getting ready for maybe next year or WNBA. Yes, there is a lot of value in WNBA. I know not a lot of people like to bet on it, but with a tool like Props Madness, you're going to be able to see these weak matchups, these good matchups very, very quickly and easily by seeing their player type analysis, seeing their scoring charts. It's all color-coded, similar types of players and things like that, the hit rate chart, all the filters. It's such a powerful tool. Definitely go ahead and check it out. Again, free week in the description down below using my code RICH. You also get 25% off your first month or your first year, which is a pretty sweet deal already. So the first play is going to be Luka Doncic, the guy right on the screen here. And I'm looking at his 27.5 points. That's where I got it on DraftKings, available on DraftKings. It's not super juiced either. A lot of places got this at 28.5. I'd take it there as well. But he's been scoring awesome lately. Obviously, you can see LeBron James is back in the lineup, and they just lost by 30, and he had 34 points. Obviously, a weak matchup there against the Chicago Bulls. And now he's got a seemingly a very good matchup. Obviously, defensive rating for the Orlando Magic. They're ranked number 2 here. But why do I like this? You can see the scoring chart doesn't look amazing above the break threes. That's where he's going to get a lot of that. They're ranked number 1. But you see the way he scores the ball, pick and roll ball handling. He gets the line a decent amount, 7 points on free throws on average. That's 21% of his points right there. That's a weak matchup here. And he's really getting into the groove with the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, Reeves is in the lineup. Yes, LeBron James is probably going to be in the lineup. But these are guys that really run guys off the three-point line. So assists for a guy like Luka, maybe not looking as good, but also they're going to make him go one-on-one. You see the post-ups, that's a one-on-one type of thing. You see isolation, 24th ranked. You see pick-and-roll ball handling, they're a little bit weaker. So they really make guys beat him one-on-one, and that's what Luka's really, really good at. You also see the projected minutes here because Luka obviously was coming off that injury, got traded, coming off the injury, finally started playing, and then wasn't playing as much as he's going to be expected to today. You can see his projected minutes. They're coming off a loss, projected for 37 minutes in this game. If you're going to put Luka on the court for 35 plus minutes, if I can go to the minutes filter, 35 plus minutes for Luka on the court this year, how about a 73% hit rate for the entire year over in 17 to 23 games? Then you talk about the matchup. They're going to be staying down on shooters. It's going to be harder to get these guys open for open threes. It's going to be hard to find guys getting put back, easy put back places. It's going to be hard for guys to score in the paint. Some of these big guys that you can throw lobs to. So Luka's going to have to score the ball mostly here, and we can see him do that very, very consistently with this much time in the court. It could be the Luka show here. So really liking his 27.5 points. If you find it at 28.5, you could even lather this up 30 plus points, 35 plus points. Luka's been really, really good lately. And you can even see this much time in the court with LeBron James, still a really good hit rate. The last 4 games or so, very difficult, the difficult matchups as well. The Celtics, the Knicks, 2 games against the Clippers. Those are also really, really good defenses. And now you got the Magic, who kind of go right in hand with those teams. So even with LeBron, he's been able to go over this line pretty consistently. Even with Austin Reeves in the lineup, pretty consistently over the last 3 games. So he's just hitting his groove with the Lakers, and he's been the main guy. So the Luka show, the Lake show, whatever you want to call it, he's looking really good at 27.5, 28.5, wherever you find this. Now I do want to point out, his first quarter points is another thing I want to look at because it's been an absolute wagon last few games. He's been crushing this in the first quarter. He's been getting 10 to 12 minutes in all of these games. LeBron James came back. He still had 11 minutes in that first quarter. Again, weaker matchups the last few games, but even the game against the Orlando Magic this year, this is back in November, obviously on the Mavericks in this game, but he had 14 points on that one. So this is a team that, again, very weak matchup in terms of how they handle isolation, how they handle pick and roll ball handlers. Maybe Luka can't find those open guys and has to do it a little bit more himself. First quarter points looks awesome. I think you could go 10 plus first quarter points. And this is a plus money play at 8.5. You could definitely get plus money at 10 plus points. He's been killing it in that first quarter. But again, if you're not a first quarter type of person, 27.5, 28.5 points, also looking really, really good here. Next thing I want to talk about is going to be Miles Turner here at 16.5 points, looking at the under. Now, he's been very close to this a lot of games, sometimes creeping over, sometimes just staying under. But I hate this matchup for him, even though it sounds like, okay, they're going up against Rudy Gobert. He's going to be able to take him outside the paint. He's a little bit slower for him. Could probably knock down some threes. They're really good at avoiding these above the break threes where most of his three-pointers come from. And if you look at positionally as well, if you look at a three-point line for him, you can see positionally to him, 3rd ranked for centers shooting threes. And you can see similar types of players. Yes, some of them going over their lines. Yes, some of them going under their lines. But guys like Chet, guys like Porzingis, guys like Alex Sarr are guys that are going to be big men that can spread the floor and shoot some threes. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are one of the best teams at avoiding that. So the way he scores the ball, pick and roll big man, spot up, free throws, this Minnesota defense is pretty good at. So I'll look at the pick and roll big man to start us, to start seeing these hit rates change a little bit. So we'll start with the DPT, that dominant player type, the pick and roll big man. They're ranked 16th. So I'm going to get rid of the top 5 teams. I'm going to get rid of the bottom 5 teams. We're seeing a 41% hit rate on that. The next thing, they go above the break threes. That's where he gets a lot of his shots. They're ranked 8th there. So I'm going to go ahead and take away the bottom 10 teams of that. So we look at ranks 1 to 20. They're ranked 8th. That falls right in there. Still a 41% hit rate. You continue to look at this. Spot up is another thing. Halliburton getting guys in a position to shoot the ball. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a very active defense, and they don't allow a whole lot of spot up shooting, which, again, that's his second dominant player type in terms of how he scores the ball. 22% of his points come from spot up shooting. They're a pretty good defense in that regard. So going to spot up shooting, figuring out teams that are playing that are pretty good at spot up defense, and we can see they're already ranked, or they're all the way down at ranked 4th. So they're a very good defense there. If you want to go to the bottom, 15 teams or top 15 teams in terms of defending that, this drops all the way to a 29% hit rate. So really liking this hit rate in terms of how you look at defenses that protect the way Miles Turner scores the ball, and not even protect in terms of the pick and roll big man. We're looking at very mediocre teams because they're ranked 16th. It's really these spot ups, it's really these 3-pointers that I think he's going to be a little bit more limited here. Now, they haven't played each other this year, or at least Miles Turner hasn't played them. The last time they played each other, that was a game that Miles Turner didn't play. Halliburton didn't play, Siakam didn't play, and the Pacers ended up actually winning that game. But you did see him play him last year twice. He went under in both those games, 12 points on both of them. He shot 3 threes in this game, shot 2 threes in this game. And if you look at his 3-point line, heavily juiced on the under, minus 205 on the under 2.5 3-pointers made. If you go to his points line and you look at 3-pointers made per game, and again, the books are saying he's very, very unlikely to get 3 3-pointers. If we see games that he's hitting 0 to 2 threes, he's under this points line now in 34% of those games. So if he's going to be limited on the threes, it goes hand in hand with his points being a better look on the under here. Oh, that was last year. Probably even a better hit rate this year. Less than 2 threes. Yeah, 27.6% of the time he's going under this. So a lot of guys, active for this team. Benedict Mathurin might not be in here, but we're going to see Siakam. We're going to see, Halliburton. We're going to see Obi Toppin off the bench. We're going to see Nembhard and Naismith. All these guys are going to be active. If he's not going to be able to knock down these threes, he's not able to go over this points line very often. And again, if you just see games with all these guys in the lineup, Benedict Mathurin game time decision as of right now, but if he's in there, you see all these guys active, he's only over in 44% of them, and this isn't even dealing with, these difficult matchups for knocking down threes for a guy like, Miles Turner, a stretch 5. So liking the under 16.5 points for Miles for our second play of the day. Move along to this next game. Really just looking at a lot of unders in this game, specifically the Raptors side of things, the Wizards side of things, both of them just because the minutes aren't there for a lot of different players. Even though it's a very weak matchup defensively for a lot of these guys, I'm going to land on RJ for the official play. I'm not going to lie, I was looking at Scotty Barnes, I was looking at Quickly. I think it's just a difficult matchup. Yes, probably one of these guys is going to go off against this weak defense, but I don't expect a whole lot of time from a lot of these players. Again, we looked at it in the injury report. No one projected for more than 30 minutes in this game for either side of things. So I'm going to RJ because similar types of players have not been hitting their lines, including RJ himself. He has gone over in one game, but he stayed under in 2 of the other games, 11 points on that one and 14 points here. I'm going to land on the 24.5 points and assists line. Yes, he's been pretty good, the last 10 games, last 15 games. The last 3 games, though, have been staying under against very, very weak defenses, including the Washington Wizards, one game there. He did go over in this game and played 28 minutes. He's projected for only 26 minutes in this game, so going over to RotoWire, seeing the projected minutes, that's the wrong team. Seeing the projected minutes here, you see RJ only 26 projected minutes. So the Raptors are starting to play their guys very, very limited minutes. A lot of guys come off the bench and play just as much as some of these starters. You can see Jakob Poeltl projected for 21 minutes. Quickly, game time decision right now, but Probable projected for 27 minutes. Scotty Barnes projected for 28 minutes. No one's getting a lot of time on the court right now for this Raptors team. So going to games that he's going to see 24 to, let's say, 30 minutes, even give him a little bit more than that 26 minutes. 24 to 30 minutes, he's only over this points and assist line in 4 of 15 games. So if he's going to see limited time on the court, it's going to be hard for him to get there. And yes, he did go over against the Wizards one game, but more recently he stayed under. You can see he stayed under very, very easily in this other game back on January 29th. He played 28 minutes in that game, and they're also on a back-to-back set here. So RJ, not in a very good position if he's not going to get the time in the court. Similar types of players not getting here either. Yes, in terms of the defense, it's a pretty good defense to take advantage of just because the Wizards suck on defense overall. It's going to be a good matchup for anyone to score the ball. But if you're not going to get more than 30 minutes on the floor, RJ's having a tough time going over this line. So he's the guy I landed on. I was looking at Scotty Barnes, similar type situation, looking at his minutes, and I think the unders, even though again very weak defense, are going to be the bread and butter of this game, probably on both sides of the court. So those are plays in the first 3 games here. Moving right along, we got the Mavericks and the Nets. We don't know if AD is going to play, but if he does play, he's probably going to be in limited minutes, even though it's probably going to be a pretty good matchup for him, down low against the Nets, who are pretty good defense, but really good defense for guards specifically. So I'm going to skip that game for now. Moving on to the 76ers and the Pelicans. I don't know if Zion's going to play, and for the 76ers, it's really been the Justin Edwards show and the Quentin Grimes show, and I like Justin Edwards, 15.5 points. You can see what he's been doing lately, and you can see the minutes he's been getting. You go, 30-plus minutes for this guy, or even, he's projected for 36, how about 34-plus minutes over in 6 of 8 games. So someone that's getting a ton of minutes, that's the first thing I always look at. Go to RotoWire, see the minutes, see the injury news, or anyone popping off the page in terms of minutes that are higher than usual, minutes that are lower than usual, like we just saw with the Toronto Raptors. Raptors, and he was obviously the biggest guy that I was like, damn, 36 minutes for this guy. You got to see what he's done in that time, and he's been pretty good here. So a nice lean on Justin Edwards to score some points. 15.5 points, yes, seems high for a guy that's hasn't been hitting this much in the season, but if he's going to get 34 plus minutes in this game, very, very weak defense against the Pelicans. You see the way he scores the ball, spot up in transition, 28th and 29th ranked there. Justin Edwards could be in another good showing here as his lines just continue to go up and up and up. He's been scoring more and more. And Quentin Grimes, he's probably the focal point of the defenses at this point. He's looked really, really good. You can see what he's been doing the last few games. What is he averaging? 30 the last 10 games or so since he's really been handed the keys to this offense. He's probably going to be the main focal point of the defensive scheme that the Pelicans are going to try to do, even though their defense sucks. So a guy like Justin Edwards at 15.5 points, looking like really, really good value. So a nice lean on that play. For the Pelican side of things, I don't really have a lean just because I don't know who's going to play yet. All right, so moving right along to the next game here. It's the Bulls and the Nuggets, and you can't avoid looking at Josh Giddey. He's a guy that I kind of avoided betting on for a little bit because he had 3 good games in a row, 4 good games in a row, 5 good games in a row. And I'm like, okay, the next game that I take this, he's going to end up having a horrible game, and it's going to be like, okay, I missed the wagon of Josh Giddey. But he continues to be able to crush this line. So I'm looking at rebounds and assists. This is now up to 17.5 for very good value, minus 102. This was hanging around 15.5 for too long. People started crushing it. He continued to crush it. Finally went to 16.5. He still was able to crush that in a lot of those games. Then he got hurt, came back, dropped to 15.5 again, and he dominated that against the Los Angeles Lakers. And that was a game that we saw no Lonzo Ball, we saw no Dosumu, and we also saw now no Trey Jones, who's been the starting point guard for this team. So he's going up against a team that allows the most assists in the entire league, this Denver Nuggets team, throughout the entire year. Going to people that get some assists against the Nuggets has been an awesome play. Now you get no Jokic in the lineup here as well. That's going to boost his rebounding opportunities. And he's actually played these guys already. The rebounds were not there. That was a game with Jokic in the lineup. He only played 27 minutes in this game. He's projected for much more today, but he did get the assists. He was assisted very efficiently on 12 potentials. He was able to get 10 assists here. So 17.5 rebounds and assists. I think it's going to look really, really good. You can see games just without Ayo Dosunmu in the lineup. He's over this in 68.4% of them. Now you take Trey Jones out of the lineup. Lonzo Ball's not there. He's going to be the main actual point guard on this team, and he's going to run the offense. Obviously, Kobe White's going to be the main scorer here, but even so, he's been able to score the ball pretty consistently as well. Got a decent matchup to score the ball, so you can't, avoid looking at points, rebounds, and assists, which has also been really good. But I'm going to land on the rebounds and assists, 17.5, very good value. I also can't, not mention the triple-double opportunity here. Plus 375. He's coming off a monster triple-double last game. He's definitely going to be in a good spot to rebound. Definitely going to be a good spot to assist the ball. And I'm going to land on his rebounds and assists. I don't need him to score the ball. Give the ball to Kobe White. Give the ball to Vucevic. Rack up some assists. Chip in with the rebounds as well without Jokic. And this is looking like a pretty good spot here for Giddey. Yes, it's higher than it has been pretty much all season, but he continues to crush this line. 20-plus rebounds and assists in more games than you can even count here. And so 17.5 doesn't scare me all too much when he continues to crush this line. Yes, he's been able to go under this some games, but very good matchup here, I think, especially with no Jokic on the floor. And then before we move on from Josh Giddey, he's projected for 34 minutes in this game, so a whole lot. They're like, hey, we'll get as much value as we can out of Josh Giddey. Maybe someone takes the bait in the offseason and trades for a guy that can rack up stats, but maybe doesn't translate to winning in that much time without Ayo Dosunmu in the floor. So again, projected for 34 minutes. Could get more, could get less. Let's go 31-plus minutes over in 78% of games, 32-plus minutes over in 90% of games. So if they're going to put Josh Giddey on the floor without all these guards in the lineup, Trey Jones not here anymore, Lonzo Ball not here, Ayo Dosunmu not here, and he's going to get this much time in a very good opportunity matchup for assists, for rebounds. This looking really, really good. Literally 90% hit rate in this much time. And then the other side of the court for the Nuggets, if Jokic doesn't go play this game, he's doubtful right now. It's hard to get to a lot of Nuggets in terms of their scoring because without Jokic, who's the guy that sets up most of these guys for scoring, it's not an amazing hit rate for a lot of these guys. So very weak defense, pick and roll ball handling for a guy like Jamal Murray. Kind of hard to get to this 23.5 point line without Jokic on the court, though. Did come off a very good game here. They're on a back-to-back set, too. You got to keep that in mind. So someone's going to go, have a good game against this weak defense. But again, these are all games without Jokic, and you can see a lot of their hit rates not looking amazing. Aaron Gordon, maybe the guy to look at, but his kind of been on a downward trend since that 38-point explosion. And you can see similar types of players not amazing against this one. So yes, I want to get to a nugget in terms of scoring versus this weak defense in the Chicago Bulls, but not, no one really jumping off the page in terms of what they've been able to do. You could also look at rebounding, but again, not looking as amazing. Again, Aaron Gordon would be the guy I want to look at. Maybe Michael Porter Jr. for a rebounds line, but you're not seeing, more than a 50% hit rate on a lot of these different guys with Jokic off the floor. So weak defense in Chicago, but tough to get to a Denver Nugget today. And then moving into the next game here, we got the Bucks and the Suns, which could be a fun game to watch tonight. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant going to be handling the most of the load, but their hit rates on their points line has not been amazing. We did call the Kevin Durant explosion against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but this is more of a mediocre matchup defensively for both these guys. It wasn't a great pick and roll ball handling, or was a good pick and roll ball handling defense against the Cavs, so I knew it was going to be more of the Kevin Durant show than the Devin Booker show. Here it's more of a mediocre matchup for both of them, so not sure who to get to. I can't trust the center on this team. I do have a couple leans on this side of the ball. Giannis you have to look at, but even in games without Damian Lillard in the lineup, his scoring hasn't really been there. His assists have been hit or miss. His rebounds have been hit or miss, so not an amazing matchup for him. You can see the rebounding, not very good against this Suns team, but they're dealing with issues down low in the center spot. I think I'm seeing the value, honestly, on Kyle Kuzma, a guy I do not like to back very often, but his points and rebounds lines look pretty good in games with Giannis without Damian Lillard. We've only seen 3 of them, but he's over in all 3 of those games. He's got a pretty good matchup to score the ball here today. Spot up, not very good, but transition has been pretty good. Similar types of players, not amazing. So Kyle Kuzma, yes, been pretty good without these certain guys on the court or not on the court. Specifically Damian Lillard not on the court with Giannis. He's been okay here, but I think my favorite lean here would probably be Brook Lopez. This is still with Giannis in the court. Without Damian Lillard, it's not amazing. But without Damian Lillard, he's over in 54% of games. The bigger thing is without Bobby Portis, he's over this in a lot of games. So, again, we can take Bobby Portis out of lineup. Now he's only over in 43% of them, but still looking okay. It's really the matchup that I like here the most. The buff the break threes. The pick and roll big man is not horrible either, 19th ranked there. So could be a good spot for him to score some points. And if you start looking at these filters, yes, they're an okay spot up shooting defense. They're ranked 6th there. So knocking out the bottom half of the league in terms of that. Still a 41% hit rate over this. You can see the dominant scoring zone, though, is that above the break 3, and they're ranked 26 there. So they allow guys to bomb threes. I don't know if Nick Richards and Oso Guidaro are going to be able to guard Brook Lopez on that 3-point line. He's going to be the biggest guy out there and be able to launch threes. The Splash Mountain, they call him for a reason. So going to teams that are not ranked in the top 15 here. So looking at the bottom ranks, now we're looking at 53% hit rate. If you take Damian Lillard out of the lineup in these certain types of games, he's over this in 4 of the 5 games. So Brook Lopez's points line was a wagon. It's up to 13.5 now. We saw it at 11.5 a whole bunch, but definitely got to look into. His first quarter points is always something I want to look at as well. Not looking as good here. So, a lean on Brook Lopez's points, I think, is, probably the best way to play this. Kevin Porter Jr. without Damian Lillard in the lineup and with Giannis. He's been okay, kind of hit or miss. So this game looks really good to bet on, but it's actually not as good as I thought it was going to be. But again, if I had a lean, it'd probably be a guy like Brook Lopez to score some points. And that brings us to the final game of the night, which I'm just going to brush over. I got no plays in this one. We don't know who's going to play. Ton of game time decisions for main guys on both these teams, so going to avoid this till I know who's going to play on this one. So that's kind of going to round out the video here. We got the recap here. Obviously, teams on a back-to-back, but we talked about RJ Barrett under his 24.5 points and assists. We got Miles Turner under 16.5 points. Luka over 27.5 points or his first quarter points. And then also Josh Giddey over his 17.5 rebounds and assists. If you want to get a little bit crazy with it, Josh Giddey's triple-double for a nice plus money play could be a little sprinkle of a quarter unit or something like that. Also talk about Brook Lopez over 13.5 points. I looked at Jordan Poole under 3.5 assists as well. We didn't talk about in the video, but another plus money lean I was looking into. So definitely decent value out there. Going to be looking at the board for the next few hours before games actually start, and we actually know a little bit more about who's going to play on some of these certain teams. But as of right now, liking the plays that we got going on so far. And if you want access to all my plays, definitely check out the link in the description down below. It's a DubClub link. You sign up through DubClub and then just connect your Discord account to your DubClub account. That's going to give you access to all the premium types of plays. So you get the Rich Lab where I post all my different plays. We do attack DFS platforms. So PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, Sleeper, Dabble, all these different types of DFS platforms. We do that every single day. It's also a great way to get into the Discord for free. So if you don't want to pay for the first month, go ahead and sign up for PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr. All the links in the description down below using my code. It's RichPicks on a lot of them. Some of them it's Rich. For Dabble, it's RichDFS. So just make sure you get the right code and then get a screenshot of my code in use as well, because you'll be able to go join the free part of the Discord, hit me up in the general chat or something, say, hey, use your code. I'll start a DM with you. We'll get those screenshots in order, and we'll get you into the free month. And you can get multiple free months if you're not on any of these platforms and you want to check them out. They're our bread and butter. We go for plus money plays a lot, and that's how we make a lot of our value in here. So you get the research breakdowns. That's where you're going to get most of the straight bets. So it's kind of general. You can get access to this and get value from it, whether you're a straight better or a parlay type better. But definitely recommend trying out PrizePicks, trying out Betr, trying out Dabble, Sleeper, all these different parlay different platforms, because there are a lot of good value, and we post plays in there each and every day. Great way to try us out for a free month. We're already one of the cheaper ones in the industry. It's $20 a month at the end of the day, and you get access to all my plays. You get access to the seasoned chefs in here as well, and you also just get access to a fun community. So the Rich Chat is where all the premium members are chatting, sharing their ideas, bouncing ideas off each other, having laughs, having fun, and it's just a fun atmosphere where you're talking to guys that also like sports. Whether it's college basketball, esports, NBA, MLB coming around the corner, everyone's going to be attacking value in there, and you can share your ideas. So you get access to all my plays, but you also just get access to a fun community. And again, definitely one of the cheapest out there. Some people pay $15 a month to give you one play a day or something crazy like that, or it's like $200 for a month or $500 or crazy things like that. So you get access to an awesome community. You get access to all my plays as well. So I think it's really good value. You definitely want to try us out, especially if you like these videos. So that will do it for this one. Again, all those links are in the description down below. Definitely check out Props Madness. That was a tool we're using, code RICH for a free week or 25% off your first month. I also have a bunch of other tools that I use each and every day, whether that's Odds Jam, DG Fantasy. There's links down below as well with my code or link, and you get a discount or something like that, free trial using my link or code down there as well. It's a great way to support the channel, but they're awesome, all awesome tools. And then of course the DFS platforms down there as well. PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Dabble, Betr, whatever it might be down there that you might want to check out. Great way to get into the Discord for a free month. But you also get some sort of perk using my code, whether that's a deposit match, free square, all these different things, and it's all listed in the description down below. And then lastly, of course, if you want the Discord, the link for that as well is down there, step-by-step process of how to get in. So that's going to do it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the value that we talked about in this one, and got an edge on what you're looking for today. And there's definitely some fun games tonight as well. So no March Madness basketball until Thursday. This will get us at least to that. And the NBA might be in a little bit of a weirder spot, but you still get to see some random guys ball out. Quentin Grimes has turned into an awesome player, dudes that are playing for contracts, and then of course teams that are actually playing for, battling for playoff positioning. That's still fun basketball to watch. So yeah, no March Madness till Thursday. We're going to try to continue to ride this NBA season all the way to the end. We've been super profitable throughout the entire season. I still got to rack up what we've done. The past 3 months, we went up 93 units in January, maybe February. We went up, January we went up 35 units in February. We're up 33 units right now in March. So just going to try to continue to ride it out, and playoffs right around the corner should also be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching. I'm mumbling to this point, so I'll get out of here. And good luck with all your bets like always. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.